You're watching a global celebration of all things Notre Dame, where we invite you to watch, connect, give, and vote. This is Notre Dame Day, live from the LaFortune Student Center.
Hello and welcome to hour number 24 of Notre Dame Day, a 29-hour global celebration of the University of Notre Dame. That's right, we've been going strong for 24 hours now. I got to go home and sleep a little bit last night.
As did I.
There are people here that have been here now for like 28, 29 hours. Now, for those of you who have been tuning in, thank you. We promise that this hour's telecast will not disappoint. I'm Jack Nolan of Fighting Irish Digital Media, and joining me is WNDU reporter and 2013 Notre Dame graduate, Tricia Harte. Tricia, thanks for joining me once again.
Thank you so much, Jack. Now, we're here at the LaFortune Student Center on Notre Dame's campus, just a few yards away from the main building and its famous Golden Dome. This will be our broadcast headquarters for the next 6 hours as we continue to celebrate all things Notre Dame with students, alumni, parents, friends, and fans all around the world. We have some exciting stories coming up this hour. We'll meet a Notre Dame student who overcame tremendous obstacles to graduate from Notre Dame, and he did it all with the help of a devoted group of roommates. And later, we'll meet some freshman Notre Dame football players you might not have heard of, although you've definitely heard of their fathers.
And as usual, we'll have a Notre Dame Day Residence Hall competition. Pascarella East faces off against Pascarella West, both on campus and online. Now let's take a look at one of the most iconic buildings on campus. People around the world know about the Hesburgh Library and its famous Word of Life mural. And this year, the library celebrated a very big milestone. Here's a video look.
This is an important milestone. It's important because it gives us the opportunity to reflect on our past and on Father Hesburgh's vision that this library would stand as a symbol of academic excellence for the world to see.
We're not celebrating a building. We're celebrating what goes on inside this building and what happens at every desk in this building. This is the place where day after day, month after month, decade after decade, faculty and students have worked, they've learned, they've discovered. It's been their intellectual home.
As a home, it can be a place to house great treasures where people can come to discover important things. And that's continued through the decades. It continues today. And that's what we celebrate, a great past, a great vision to make this great home for learning and discovery, but we also celebrate a great future. We celebrate 50 years. I look forward to the next 500. Happy birthday to this great home, this Hesburgh Library, this home for learning and discovery.
Now let's go live to the Hesburgh Library where Notre Dame Day reporter Catherine Dudas is standing by. Catherine?
Thanks, Tricia. Yes, I am at the top of the iconic Hesburgh Library. As you can see, it's an incredible, beautiful view. And I'm here with one of the people who perhaps knows this library the best, Diane Parr Walker, the university librarian. Diane, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
As we just saw, this is a momentous year for the library. How has the university been celebrating?
It has been a momentous year. You know, Father Hesburgh's original vision for this building came to light when it opened on September 18th, 1963, and then was dedicated on May 7th, 1964. So we've used those two important dates to frame a year-long celebration that has helped us celebrate our past and reconnect with the original vision, but also anchor our vision for the future of the library and reimagine that in order to be a great research university, Notre Dame has to have a great library.
That's really wonderful. And what other events have made this year a big one for the libraries?
Sure. The celebration has really been a campus-wide celebration. We've had a lot of partnerships across campus. With campus partners, we've hosted over 50 events and told the library's story about its mission of connecting people to knowledge at least 50 times. Among the events that we hosted was the celebration that launched the year that you saw in the video. That was a partnership with student government, with alumni affairs, with Notre Dame Game Day, and many others. Then we've hosted a series of lectures, the Hesburgh Library Lecture Series, with academic units around the campus, all during the year. And in January, we hosted, along with the DeBartolo Performing Arts Center and student government and many others, the TEDx UND event.
That all sounds really incredible. And as media increasingly goes digital, what will the next 50 years bring for the library, if you can guess that far?
Good question. I wish I had a crystal ball. But, you know, I'm often asked if the future of the library is about print and books or about digital. It's true that for the last several hundred years, books have been the primary containers of knowledge. And it's also true that in the 21st century, now, our containers of knowledge have multiplied. We have electronic books and journals, but also news feeds and humongous data sets and emerging technologies that are transforming the way people do research in the 21st century. But what's important is for us to remember that the library's mission is really about connecting people to knowledge. And so the future is about books, but also about digital and a lot more.
Speaking of digital, the library's launched a new Center for Digital Scholarship this fall, and what's going on there?
Sure, we did. We launched the Center for Digital Scholarship and celebrated that opening in November. Knowledge creation in the 21st century really will require access to state-of-the-art technology and advanced research expertise and digital library services. So the center has been designed to meet those growing needs. And already it's transforming how we work with faculty to advance teaching, research, and learning here at Notre Dame. And the center will also give every Notre Dame student access to the digital tools and skills that they need to be successful contributors in a 21st century digital world.
That sounds really exciting. That's really awesome. And then last question, can you tell us what you've planned for the grand finale for this year's celebration?
Sure. We're winding to a close because, as I say, Dedication Day was May 7th. And so our last public event will be this Friday and Saturday evenings here in the courtyard next to the reflecting pool, in collaboration with Notre Dame's Sacred Music program and featuring Notre Dame's brand new children's choir. They will do a performance of a piece by Benjamin Britten called Noah's Flood. It's based on the story of Noah and the Ark, and will be a multimedia open-air extravaganza, weather permitting. We've got our fingers crossed. And then finally, all during the year, we've been putting out individual milestones that are important in the history of the library. So we'll wind up our 50 Milestones campaign with our 50th milestone on May 7th. I'm going to not spoil the surprise and tell you what that milestone will be. So I'll encourage those who are viewing us to check back to the web or follow us on Twitter and Facebook to find out what our vision for a 21st century library that will continue to inspire academic excellence for the next 50 years and beyond looks like.
That all sounds so great and so exciting. Thank you so much, Diane. And Jack, back to you in the studio.
All right. Thanks, Catherine. Nice job. Boy, what a place to conduct an interview. A beautiful view. Now we're going to take a look at a very special Notre Dame student who overcame some obstacles of his own. Matt Swinton, a graduate in the class of 2012, wasn't even sure he'd be able to attend Notre Dame even though he was admitted. But thanks to a group of devoted roommates in ONeill Hall, Matt's life and the lives of his parents changed forever. Let's watch.
For most kids who dream about going to Notre Dame, getting accepted is the biggest hurdle. But after Matt Swinton was accepted, there were many hurdles. He was born with spinal muscular atrophy, but for each challenge he faced on campus, help seemed to be around every corner.
There's a pocket door.
It began with a room renovation in ONeill Hall, designed just for him.
And I just cried. I couldn't believe, I'll get choked up now, I couldn't believe that they were going to do it. And when we asked them why they, did the room and why they did that, they said because it was the right thing to do.
I would want any student that wants to come to Notre Dame and can come to Notre Dame not to be denied because they didn't have the service they need. So I really think that by doing these things, we're just giving, a student a chance to be a part of Notre Dame.
Yeah. The converted quad allowed Matt to have roommates, and over the years, they became more than just best friends. When the health attendants hired to take care of him proved unreliable, his roommates and several students in ONeill stepped in to take over his personal care needs.
After a semester, I told my parents, look, let me write up an ad. We'll circulate it around the dorm, and we'll see what happens. I had 11 students here in ONeill Hall step up the same night that I asked, which was absolutely tremendous.
They helped with anything Matt needed.
I change him, like I take him and put him to bed, and when he has to cough, I help him cough. When he gets drinks, cut up his food, and get books down from the desk.
Every single night, including weekends, the students took turns sleeping on the cot beside his bed, waking up 4 or 5 times to turn him so he wouldn't develop pressure sores.
Notre Dame students are very nice people just in general and very caring, and it allows people in ONeill and throughout the Notre Dame community to really express that caring for others in ways that they may not otherwise be able to.
I've always said that if you're worried about this generation, all you have to do is look at the kids here.
I feel like it's made everybody a better person having Matt around.
The university community sort of, banded together to help him, whether it was students here at ONeill who became his attendants, whether it was Scott Howland in the disabilities office, making sure his classrooms were accessible. Obviously, the groundskeepers and everyone here who get the snow out of the sidewalk.
There is great truth in the Notre Dame family to watch the community take care of each other, to watch them love each other and accept differences.
Matt Swinton.
Having Matt in our life has taught us, in Matt's case, that anything's possible, and I think for any child with a disability, anything's possible. The importance of family and the importance of community.
The one major thing I'll take away, if nothing else, from Notre Dame is what it means to live independently. That you can achieve what you want to do and be independent, but ask for help. There are people willing to offer help, to give help, that it's not bad to ask for help. And I think that will pay dividends in any career going forward and in life in general.
And joining us live on the phone now, all the way from Texas, we are very proud to welcome Matt Swinton to the Notre Dame Day broadcast. Thank you for calling in. Matt, how are you today?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Now, Matt, let's go back 6 years. I know you were accepted to Stanford and Rice, both great schools, but why did you pick Notre Dame?
Well, Notre Dame was always my dream school. Even, I think before I knew what college really meant. But, as, I grew and matured and really learned what college meant and what moving away from home would mean, and we started to investigate schools a little bit more closely. First and foremost, Notre Dame the student body had this desire and calling inside them to help, which I think played out for my 4 years here. And not just the student body, but the administration and the faculty, I think, had that same willingness and understanding to help make my 4 years a success. And that stood alone when you looked at other schools.
Now, I know your parents ended up getting an apartment in Mishawaka so they could be a little closer to you, and your mom was here pretty often. Was that nice to have her so close?
Yeah, you know, it was good. It was good to know that there was a backstop, there was a safety net. Like any 18 or 19-year-old, it didn't sound so appealing at first, but certainly over the years, you know, I learned to appreciate that having family close and knowing that I had that safety net was a great thing.
Now, being on West Quad, I lived in McGlynn, and some of those rooms, the handicap accessible ones, are very nice. Now, you had some issues with the service your family hired to take care of you, but you seem to have no trouble getting the guys in ONeill Hall to step up and help you out. Was that surprising at all?
You know, I would yes and no, and I'll say yes in the sense that the amount of support I had was overwhelming in a good way. And no in the sense that, you know, you step on Notre Dame's campus and you have any type of interaction with the student there, you get the sense that, and they have that overwhelming want to help out. So, you know, I think I always knew that somebody would. I certainly didn't know that I would have the amount of support that I got.
And we're talking about around-the-clock care. I've actually seen that room before with the cot. To have your friends sleep over every night, was that just kind of comforting that they kind of became your brothers too?
Oh, certainly. And yeah, we're talking about kids who had a Notre Dame course load themselves and really stepped up to the plate. You know, I can't imagine how they juggled all that, but they did, and I'm forever grateful and very blessed for it.
Now, what type of care are we talking about? I assume it's the type of thing that would really make you a lot closer to someone.
Sure. Yeah, no, we're talking about, you know, in the mornings and nights, kind of that everyday, you know, brush teeth, you know, get ready in the morning and get ready at night. And then during the day there, you know, helping get books, helping get a computer out, get notes out of my backpack, that sort of stuff. So we're talking about, you know, the foundations of being able to be a successful student, regardless of where you go. And without them, I certainly would not have been able to succeed at Notre Dame.
Now, that room had a lot of space in it. Did it cut down at all on your socializing? I know that it was pretty easy to have people over there.
Sure, yeah, no, it was very spacious, and that was one of the cool things that Notre Dame did was they put me on a quad so that meaning normally four people where there was me and two others in my case. But it allowed me to have roommates. That was another thing that kind of stood apart from several other universities that I looked with was that, you know, they were very big into putting me in a single. And having those roommates, I think, helped me assimilate a lot better into the college kind of community.
So from ONeill Hall, now you're in Texas, but you're no stranger to Notre Dame. Do you still get to come back as much as you want to?
You know, I always could get back more. But yeah, you know, I was able to come up for the Blue Gold weekend just recently and plan to come up a couple more times to see some football games. But, you know, it's a great opportunity to get up and reconnect with, you know, all the friends who, you know, the one thing at Notre Dame is everybody moves nationally and globally. So those are the great opportunities to really catch up with some lifelong friends.
All right, so looking back on your 4 years here at Notre Dame, what are you most thankful for?
You know, I'm just blessed for the people God put in my life during those 4 years. You know, I think that video pointed out several of them, and without them, the Notre Dame experience wouldn't have been what it was. And they really stepped up to the plate and helped me be able to succeed for those 4 years, and I'm forever indebted and forever grateful to them.
All right, Matt, well, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story with us tonight. Next up, we have a special guest from the Notre Dame football team. You might not have heard of them, but you've almost definitely heard of their dads. Jack Nolan is with them in the Notre Dame studio. Jack?
Tricia, thank you. And I know you didn't write that either, but I bet you probably have heard of these three guys. I'm here with three Notre Dame freshmen who come from famous families. First, Oh, we are changing the order. So I told the guys I've got an earpiece. I'm glad that they let me know. Jesse, you're now first. Jesse Bon Jovi. He's a defensive back from New Jersey. And apparently his dad is a musician of some kind. You see him up there?
I think that's him.
That's what you're told?
Yeah.
Do you like him with the hat?
Yeah, you know, that's a great hat. You know, got the old ND on there.
Now, I've seen him on the sidelines a number of games. I've never even told him this. I actually almost once knocked him over in the tunnel. I was running to the media room. He was coming down, and I bumped into a guy, and it happened to be John Bon Jovi. Thank goodness I didn't knock him over. When did he become a Notre Dame fan?
Well, he was a Notre Dame fan when Charlie Weiss started coaching here, and so his friendship with Coach Weiss kind of grew into, my becoming a Notre Dame fan, and I wanted to come here, and I mean, it's just been sort of love ever since,
Also with us, wide receiver Torrey Hunter Jr. His dad, naturally, Torrey Hunter Sr., has won a number of Gold Gloves and Silver Slugger awards in Major League Baseball. He's currently a right fielder with the Detroit Tigers. That's it. Do you have the same smile? It looks like you do. Boy, I mean, you guys, that is really quite a resemblance.
Pretty close, I would say.
Could you, probably still a little bit too, could you pass yourself off as him yet? Has that ever happened?
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right.
I gotta cut all my hair off first.
I know he's watching. That's terrific. And our third famous freshman is Corey Robinson, son of NBA All-Star David Robinson, the Admiral. That might not be the best picture. Has he ever had as much hair as you have right now?
I don't know. If he has, he's not telling me. Every day he tells me to cut this off, so I don't know.
All right, now, actually, it says here he's not. That's 7'4", isn't he?
No, he's 7'1".
7'1", but that's right. But he grew something like 6 or 7 inches between his freshman and sophomore years in college.
Yeah, he got in the Navy as 6'7", because that's the cutoff length, and then he grew 6 or 7 inches. When he was boxing and he broke his hand, and when they went to go fix it up, they noticed that his growth plates were still open, and he grew like another 6, 7 inches after that.
All right, this is the summer between your freshman and sophomore year. How big are you going to get?
I don't know, but if I grow 6 inches, that'd be awful. I can't have to buy all new wardrobe. I mean, my jeans won't fit.
Well, I also do the men's basketball games. You want to play a little basketball?
Play a little basketball. I don't know. I'm not as good as Pops, that's for sure. That's why I chose football.
And what is it like? Well, first of all, I'm sure you've been asked all the time, what's it like to have famous dads? But when did you first discover, when did it become apparent to you that you had a famous dad? Let's start with Jesse.
Well, I mean, I think for me, being a little kid and kind of going to shows and things like that, when you're real little, it doesn't really click, But I mean, I would say probably like 6 or 7 years old, you kind of start to figure out that like all these people and like that's my dad and like I wonder why they're here. And so you kind of start to figure out that it's like, oh, he's kind of like somebody that people want to see, do what he does. So I'd say probably 6 or 7 years old.
Torrey?
For me, I would say it's probably the same age. Growing up, you just see him as a father, and you don't really see the people that much. You always see him at home, playing with you and everything like that. But once you get like 6 or 7, you start noticing all these people want his autograph, and people seeing him on ESPN all the time making highlight plays, and people start to admire him, and you see all that. So then you realize that your father's like somebody big and important.
Now, like on Family Day, when did you dress up in whatever baseball uniform your dad's team had?
I actually did. I dressed up and everything. I came to the stadium early. I would get my wrist taped, and I had the game replica jerseys, and they let us take BP on the little tees with the big red bats with the wiffle balls. So we definitely got to have a great experience as kids growing up.
That's crazy.
That's pretty.
We didn't get to do
that. Well, they don't do that in basketball. They don't give you little basketball uniforms.
I remember. I don't really remember much about my dad playing because I was 8 when he retired. But I do remember being ball boys. That was the one thing they let us be. So I got to just like pass the ball to like Tim during warm-ups and stuff. But never like get my wrist tapes and nothing. I never get to see. Never got to do all the cool stuff behind the scenes.
So at 8, I mean, when did you start going to games? 4, 5?
No, I was going to games when I was in my mom's womb. She was pregnant, taking me the road trips and stuff. Like me and my brothers were born into the game.
So 2, 3, you were still going.
Yeah.
So do you have images in your mind? Do you remember him now playing?
No, actually, I don't. I don't have any like memories. I only can think of the like they made DVDs of the championship. So I watched those, and I kind of remember those, like walking with him like after the 03 championship, and you know, like it was his last game, and I was wearing his jersey. Like I remember like little bits, but I don't remember like actually watching him play.
You know, I know I've mentioned this to you. I don't know if the other two guys, but communicating, being able to do what you're doing now is so important in life, and so many people can't do it, regardless of whether you go on to be professional athletes, entertainers, CEOs. Being able to get up in front of a group and being able to speak is really the key to success. It's going to make a huge difference, and that's what I've always loved about Notre Dame, is that virtually every athlete can do it, but you guys are all exceptionally good at it for your age. Do you think coming from a family that's always in the spotlight and seeing your dads and in some cases your moms do that, has that helped you be ready to do things like this?
Yeah, I would definitely say absolutely. When I was getting recruited, I never really got in front of the camera. I was always behind the camera and, you know, waving at dad and stuff. But then when I started getting recruited, they started asking me the questions, and I didn't really know how to respond. So me and my dad went through like a little training camp, media training camp, if you will. And he taught me all of his, you know, skills, like all the things that you need to understand as an athlete, like don't get yourself into a hole, you know, all these things. Just smart, common sense things that you would think. But a lot of people don't understand that once you're in front of the camera, you can't say whatever you want, you know. You're representing your school, your family. So it's a very big responsibility that requires a lot of preparation. So that's what I learned from my pops.
Tori?
For me, it was definitely 100% because I grew up watching my dad do interviews, and just seeing how comfortable he is in front of the camera, and that he shows his personality. What he is on the camera is what he is off the camera, and that's what I kind of try to do also. I don't want to seem like some different person on camera, or you know, try to put up a front so I can please everybody else. I want to be able to be myself, you know, crack a joke or smile a lot. So that's kind of what I took from him, you know, just be myself, you know, never try to like self-incriminate myself or anything like that. I don't want to, you know, talk down about anybody else, or I just want to speak about me and what I have to get better at and things like that. So I definitely thank my dad a lot for, you know, teaching me how to do interviews and different things like that.
Jesse, how has it helped you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of the same stuff that, you know, my dad has always just been big on, just sort of say what you think. You know, don't feel like you have to say, like, you know, just don't be nervous about it is really what he always has said is, you know, don't be pretending like you have to be someone else, or, you know, that you have to act a certain way. You know, it's just sort of be honest with yourself and be honest with who you're talking to. And then, I mean, the fact there's a camera on or whatever, you know, whatever it may be, doesn't really affect you if you're being honest with yourself and things like that.
Now, none of the three of you are doing the exact same thing your dads did. Tori, Corey, you guys, you're not playing the same sport, and you're going to major in business. Yeah. I didn't even ask you. I don't know if you can sing or not. But why?
I don't think so.
But did you want to go into the music business, or why you're not doing that?
Well, I took drum lessons when I was like 9 or 10. I did that for like 2 weeks. Wasn't very good at it. Couldn't get the foot thing going. And I took guitar for like 2 months maybe, and wasn't very good at it. And so it just wasn't really in the cards for me. And honestly, I'm a little bit of a little bit of stage fright when it comes to like big crowds. Like performing in front of a big crowd kind of freaks me out. So, you know, I don't know. I just don't think that singing was ever really in the cards.
Forgive me for this, but this just popped into my head. But have you like ever been out on a date and the girl wants you to sing?
I've never been on a date before. No, I'm kidding.
Why do I find that hard to believe?
No, but like people have asked, like oh, like, do you sing? Like, are you in a band or things like that? And,
you
like,
slam it down.
No.
Did you play baseball ever, Tori?
I did, actually. I played all the way up until high school, and I actually got drafted by the Detroit Tigers.
That's right. I remember that.
Yes, sir. But, you know, I ended up getting drafted in the 36th round because of my injury last January. I broke my femur. So, you know, baseball kind of got put on hold. But, I mean, hopefully Coach Kelly will let me pick it back up somewhere next year, maybe. But, you know, it was kind of tough letting that go because I haven't played since my junior year in high school. So,
football over basketball, why?
Well, a lot of people ask me that question, and I always respond with the same answer. I really never had a choice. The only offer I got for basketball was a junior college. And when I said junior college basketball or Notre Dame football, it wasn't that hard of a choice. So,
injury-wise, you're the only one that's been injury-free so far.
Yes.
So, I mean, you think...
Dangerous talk. Don't want to jinx it.
Well, so we probably shouldn't talk about that. Okay. What we'll talk about is, in the spring, probably embarrassing, I don't know if you heard this or not, but the coaches kept talking about you and how far you've come, which is a long way, because I know last fall they were talking about the whole team was surprised when you caught the ball and didn't fall down. So how far have you come since? I mean, I kidded you about this before, so I'm not, but I mean, even Coach Kelly said that, and I mean, that's good-natured ribbing among sports. But talk about your development now. What's the next step for you?
Well, I think the next step is to become the leader the team needs me to be. You know, with TJ gone, and me and Tori have a responsibility at the receiving core to step up. You know, we have some good guys on the team, but we don't really have a lot of like age. You know, we're a very young team, and we're looking for the guys to go to. So one of the things that we really need to work on is trying to be confident and knowing the scheme, and being out there and knowing that we can be the guys to make the play, not just like I did like once or twice a game last year, being like the guys like TJ and DeVar, where you can make a play every time they need you to. That's the #1 thing that I'm trying to work on going into this summer. And I know the coaches are delighted that they are beginning to see more and more of the real Torrey Hunter Jr. So what are you seeing for yourself this year?
For sure, I have to, do some more strengthening, and I get a little bit stronger, get a little bit bigger, and I have to dig more into the playbook, and so I can be that type of guy that can move around like TJ did and play in the slot position, play outside, maybe put me in the backfield. I don't know, but I have to grasp the playbook, develop as a player, totally the whole package. Route running, starting and stopping, defense, noticing defenses. So there's a lot of things that I could definitely work on over the summer before the season starts.
All right, and again, you got hurt a year ago, January. How frustrating has this been, playing baseball, playing football, always being active? And as you said, it's been like a year since you've been able to go full go. How hard's that been?
It's definitely, that was the toughest thing for me, watching everybody else play where I had to sit back. And that's something I've never done in my entire life until I broke my femur. I watched my whole senior season of baseball go by. We could have made it to state, and watching them lose in the playoffs, maybe I could have been that, that extra push to get us to state. And watching that go by was pretty tough. Watching my dreams of getting drafted out of high school, to watch that go to waste was pretty tough. But coming to Notre Dame was not a bad idea at all, to play football. And watching my whole freshman season of football go by, and watch all my my fellow peers that I came here with, watch them all play and succeed, it was pretty tough also. So I'm just waiting for my opportunity to get back on the field and play.
And Jesse, just a few weeks ago, you tore your ACL. I was talking with you before. You've still got the brace on. Get a little more movement in there, and they're hoping you can practice this summer. But have you ever had an injury like this before?
Yeah, my sophomore year of high school, I partially tore my ACL. So thankfully then I didn't need surgery and was able to get through the rest of high school pretty much injury-free. But everyone kind of said, like, look, eventually one day it's going to happen. You're going to tear your ACL. And so, I mean, you say thankfully, it didn't happen during the season, but it's rough that it happened, at all. But yeah, again, the hope is that I'll be back by August, and fingers crossed I'll be able to maybe get on some special teams, something like that, come fall. So that's kind of my goal right now, is just to get healthy and then be able to really help out as much as I can. In any really way that I can.
Well, and certainly under Coach Kelly and staff, they don't waste walk-on status. I mean, you're on the team not only so you can help in practice and show a good look, but you're on the team because they think you may be able to earn a spot and play on a regular basis. Joe Schmidt right now, probably one of the great examples of that. So
absolutely.
You were a very good high school player. So what are you looking for? Torrey still won't tell me that he's 100%. I like that, because you got to come back slowly, and you never want to reveal your cards. But when do you think you're going to feel 100% again? What's it look like?
I mean, I don't know. I just started riding the bike, like, for real today. They had me kind of, it was funny, the first 2 weeks, you can't really bend it, things like that. And so it was a lot of, you'd go halfway around and then stop and then go halfway the other way. And that was like riding the bike. But so today, we kind of started moving it, and it's feeling a lot better. They're taking the brace off the end of the week. So, I mean, hopefully as it heals up, people keep telling me that I'm doing really well. So, I mean, I don't really know what the timeline is, but we'll see.
Well, gentlemen, a little longer than the average interview, but I appreciate you taking the time. Exams coming up next week. Good luck with those. And, folks, this is a great example of what a Notre Dame student athlete is like. You see him on the field, you see him performing. but now you also see what they can do off the field. Really complete, total individuals, and I think all three are really going to make us proud in the coming years. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
I know they made their famous dads very proud already as well. Now we are going back to Notre Dame Day reporter Catherine Dudas, who is on the scene for this hour's Residence Hall Challenge. Catherine, who's facing off right now?
Hi, Jack. Yeah, I'm here on North Quad for another tug-of-war event between the two rival halls, Pascarella East and Pascarella West. Okay, now each halls are able to have 8 team players on each team, and to spice things up, they're competing for a total of $1,000 in cash prizes. All right, let's see who wins. All right, let's get started. Let's go. Team captain, what's your name?
Noel Gooding.
All right, how does it feel to win?
It feels super great to win.
What was the secret? What was the secret?
Well, it's all in the teamwork and the pump-up cheers. And our secret weapon, Oma. Shout out to Oma for killing it.
Okay, thanks so much. Congratulations. Okay, I'm sending it back inside to you, Jack, for competition number 2.
No, she might, because I'm gonna. Yeah, she'll identify herself first. You'll second. Thanks, Catherine. Now we have some ladies from PE and P-Dub in the studio now for a slightly different feat of skill. It's called Heads Up. Ellen DeGeneres made it popular on her show. Each residence hall has a 2-person team. One team member will hold the app over their head, and the other will have to give clues so their teammates can guess the word on the screen. When you guess correctly, you flip the app down to get a new clue. You can also flip the app up to skip a word. So we have PE going first. Ladies, please identify yourselves.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm a freshman in Pascarella East.
Hi, I'm Claire Loftus. I'm a freshman in Pascarella East as well.
All right, ladies, are you ready?
Ready.
All right, get set. Go. Oh. I'm new at this.
North Quad. Yeah, no, Mod Quad, but it's not.
Siegfried.
Skip. Basketball, women's.
Natalie.
No.
Skylar Diggins.
No. On the team now, senior.
I don't know.
Skip. Skip. Okay, North Quad, not Stanford.
Keenan.
South Quad, not alumni. Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. Not the Dome, but...
The main building.
No,
the
not
Basilica.
Yes.
Oh.
Where are we right now?
LaFon.
Yeah. South Quad, right next to the Rock, girls' dorm.
Pangborn?
Yes. South Quad, girls' dorm.
Lions.
No.
Bad?
Yes. Not any quad, really.
All right, you got 6. That was tough because you have to be like a sportscaster fan.
Yeah.
Had 2 sportscasters.
I know, too many people.
Too many people.
Like for Hannah Storm, could have been former WNDU intern. That's true. All right. Well, you got 6. Let's bring in our next team. We'll see if that's a fairly tough score to beat. Here is our P-Dub team coming on in. Nice to meet you. What?
Are we live already?
Jeanette and Kate?
Caitlin.
Caitlin? Do you want to give your last names or?
Oh yeah,
it's
I'm
up to you.
Jeanette Kim. Are we live already?
Yes, we're live right now.
Oh goodness gracious. Well, I'm Jeanette Kim. I'm a junior in P-Dub.
Thank you.
And I'm Caitlin Campbell. I'm a senior in P-Dub.
Okay. Are you guys ready to go?
I think
Take
so.
a deep breath.
I think so.
Now 6 is what you have to beat.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Here's the countdown.
This will be great. Pass. It's the mural on the library.
Word of Life Mosaic, Touchdown Jesus.
There you go. Pass. The biggest classroom building on campus.
DeBartolo.
But the first name is Saint. First name. Do you know DeBartolo's first name?
No.
Okay, what's the male dorm? Saint
Ed's.
Yeah, so full name.
Edward DeBartolo.
You got it. The 24-hour cafe behind South Downing Hall.
Rutgers.
Go. Yeah. Don't know. Okay. Don't know. Number 5, Hawaiian football player, graduated last year. Okay. Not Welsh family, but
Walsh.
There you go. Pass.
Hurry.
Next to Keogh, it's a male dorm.
Oh, O'Neill.
Yep. She's the director of SAO, I believe.
Ooh, I don't know.
Pass. Last person to win the Heisman Trophy from Notre Dame.
I don't know. Oh, God.
Oh.
No, we tied.
Oh, we have a tie of 6. You know, I should be doing this. A lot of sports questions and ones that I know. A lot of sports questions.
He was the last one to win the Heisman from Notre Dame.
But some of the other ones, people who are older than 20, 21, or 22, like Adrian Dantley.
Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah, the number 44.
He's in the Ring of Honor. Oh. So what happens if there's a tie? You both get the prize. They split the prize? Okay.
I mean, I would rather us win, but
everybody's a winner. That's the best way. All right. Now, before we wrap up our live broadcast for this hour, we're going to check in with Catherine Dudas one more time at the Notre Dame Day Social Media Command Center. Catherine.
Thanks so much, Jack. I'm here with Jonathan and Mark again, who have been monitoring the social media stats. Guys, talk them through it.
All right, welcome back to the Social Media Lounge. We're starting to come down the home stretch here at La Fortune Student Center. You might be able to hear some noise in the background. We just had some dorm challenges going on. A lot of excitement here as we come down the home stretch with less than 6 hours to go. 5 hours, 18 minutes, and a handful of change in seconds as we come down the home stretch. One thing and one thing only I want to cover with you. Hit NotreDameDay.nd.edu and click the big green button. Thank you so much for all of you that have participated to this point. We're looking forward to seeing more of you coming through here in the final hours to make this day a hyper success. And now to talk to you about social media and what's going on out in Twitter and other places, I'm going to pass you on to Jonathan Ratartha. Jonathan, what do we have going on out there?
Mark, happy to be here in the home stretch. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to our broadcast here. I think in the last couple hours we had, let's see, Germany, Ecuador, El Salvador, India. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's truly a global celebration. And we're so thankful for all of you that have taken the opportunity to visit NotreDameDay.nd.edu, to make your gift to the university, and to cast your vote for the 3 areas at Notre Dame that mean the most to you. Whatever they are, we have hundreds of choices. There's still an opportunity for you to go in, make a gift. Could be as small as $10, but you're going to amplify that because we're helping to spread out this $250,000 challenge fund. So there's never been a better time to get involved and make a difference at Notre Dame. Now, let's talk about what's happening on social media. I can tell you it's starting to get competitive amongst our schools and our colleges and our teams. Here's a tweet from the graduate school. We cracked the top 10 list in academics. We need your vote to make it to the top. So if you're a graduate student, maybe a double domer, you can make a vote for your undergrad major and a vote for your graduate major. That works great for you. Let's go to ND postdocs. Currently, we need 262 votes to get to the top of the leaderboard. Cast your votes. Bring challenge funds to ND grad. So they're going at it on all fronts here. ND Center for Ethics, we currently have 99 votes. Support the center and help us break 100. Donate now. We'll ask Ann in a minute if they actually achieve that. And men's soccer, I love this one. One of my favorite ones of the day. Give like a champion today. We're going to have to get a sign at some point here, Mark. Well, maybe we can Photoshop something really quickly, but that's what it comes down to. We got to give like a champion today, and who better to hear it from than your reigning NCAA men's soccer champions. So, speaking of champions, let's go leaderboard. Ann Griffith, welcome.
Happy to be here. We have an epic challenge that just finished out here. For the first time ever, we have had a tie in the dorm challenge. We have ONeill and Keough tied for the last dorm challenge. And it's pretty exciting right now between PE and PW. As I hear it, PE right now is ahead by 1. So we'll be following up on that next hour. Let's take a look at what's happening on our leaderboard. Right now we're at 2345 as far as how many gifts we've received, and just shy of $600,000. Let's see what happens the next hour if we can get over that top. And you were mentioning Center for Ethics and Culture. Did they make it over 100 votes? I believe they did. We'll go down. Yes, they are in the triple figures at 103. And if we scroll back up, thank you very much, we can see that not only are they in the triple figures there, but they are leading the top 10 centers and institutes. You were talking about some of the academics over there. I think a few people are going to have to get on there and start voting, because law is way out ahead. Double undergraduate business. Rowing still on there at 4.25%. They've had a strong lead all day. Let's see what everybody else can bring back. So I guess we're still looking at that big green bar, big green button as far as pressing that. Thanks.
What's in our next hour?
Okay, coming up, we have a visit from F. McGraw, a live visit with the ND Club of Panama. We have Trent Dilfer and Malik Zaire coming in a live performance from the ND Chorale. Should be great. And then Surin Hall versus Duncan Hall. See you back here for more from Notre Dame Day live at the top of the next hour.